There we go. Hi,
Hi, Natasha. Am I pronouncing it right?
Natasha. Yeah, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet. I've been looking at your profile. You're quite accomplished in your space. Uh,
Oh, thank you.
I don't think I know nobody
Trying.
in the Apex that's that achieved in that particular niche. So that's quite unique.
Thank you. Yeah, I love what I do. So trying to get better at it and just work through those roadblocks and new level, new devils, they call it. So yeah, yeah,
Well, with your permission, I'm recording this
totally
for
fine.
some of my peers that are actually looking to move into this space
Yeah.
to the fundraising piece. But let me give you my background to perhaps give you some direction as to what I might need. If you,
Okay.
so I've worked with young people for decades, 30 years, right? Teaching entrepreneurship. Started in Chicago. A couple of years ago, I started working with Barack Obama's My Brother's Keeper initiative.
Hmm.
So we were servicing all of the kids in the Fort Worth Independent School District, right? From that time, while I was working with him, I realized they have over 222 chapters nationwide. And many of the other chapters wanted to implement some type of entrepreneurial initiative. Well, the original reason why I started working with Ryan is because I hired Ryan to teach me social media and digital marketing.
Hmm.
Even though I was teaching sales to kids, I didn't know the social media part. Since I've been in Apex, I started to see how important it is to create this network connection because
Hmm.
many of the people, even executives, are saying that they're having difficulty finding the competent workforce. And there's like a gap between the young entrepreneurs and the existing businesses where the collaboration, they can actually have interns, apprentices, and ultimately groom their workforce for the future.
Uh-huh.
But my objective is to start engaging them and to bring them into the apex so that they can start getting around folks who are actually doing things on various levels and ultimately help them escalate so they move to being an entrepreneur, an executive themselves. So the school system is a perfect model because what I did, I did 25,000. I gave away 25,000 last year for the grant from Rainwater Foundation, right?
Hmm.
It was just a contest. So I did a contest and I have a learning management system. So what they did, probably 400 students were exposed to this. 100 of them actually registered and started to engage. Only 10 of them actually completed all of the tasks required. So I awarded 10 of them. And what they got was they got a funnel. They got a phone site with a domain name, an email address, and they got the instruction on how you go about generating leads, right?
Right.
So that was just the beginning of the process. But I can see that this whole opportunity with the red line fundraising is a way to raise funds that can pay for young people becoming involved in relationships like this so that they can level up. So my
Right.
question is, what's the most appropriate and efficient way to get to go through the channels, to get to the decision maker? How do I go about it? I don't just want to be beating my head against the wall.
No, no, absolutely. So your overall, just to make sure, because I just took notes on everything you said. So your overall goal with a school district or kids in general is find the classes or the courses that have to do with entrepreneurship, and then you want to bridge them into Apex, either with a mentorship and get them. That's what I'm trying to understand more clearly of what you want, like the bridge with Apex is get them in there for the mentorship, but what's the other part?
The first piece is this to get them engaged, like with the phone sites, because I actually have Todd. I don't know if not, Todd Holland, who's the tech support over there at Phone Sites. He
Mhm.
created a business in a box kind of piece for them so that they have something they can do. Now they can make affiliate money with phone sites, but I wanted them to have the ability to create a site based on whatever niche they have an interest in, just so they can understand marketing and sales, right? So that was my initial piece, but that package that they get, there's a price point associated with it. So if they don't
Right.
have money, the system that Adam created enables them
Uh-huh.
to raise the funds, right? So this year is the first year he rolled it out. He's been doing fundraising for 30 years, but he created a platform where he gives the coach of a football team or a basketball team, whatever, gives them a package of information. They give it to the students. He says normally about anywhere from 20 to 30 students that participate. They do a 1 hour fundraiser. In this 1 hour fundraiser, they raise anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. And what they do is they give them a list of, it's kind of like the Dream 25. Say, identify some people that you're going to solicit. And then we're going to give you a text message, automated, it's already pre-written.
So weird you did said that because I just got one from my girlfriend's
Really?
kids and I'm like, oh yeah, I just got one. they're over here in California. And it was like, hey, Natasha, this is Bridget and this is Bridget's daughter, Abby, and so. We're hoping you could donate to our fundraiser. And then I got another text message later. Hey, hopefully I can get a donation soon. And I'm like, I thought it was coming from Bridget. And I text her, I said, hey, I'm so sorry. I'll donate at the end of this month. And she's like, oh no, that's an automated text. And I was like, what the hell?
So
So
she didn't authorize them to send that to you?
I'm sure she did, but I didn't respond to it till the second one. And then she was like, oh. So yeah, let me find it. It was very like, I thought it was her. Yep. See, I'm like, I wish I could show you, but I got all these text messages and I thought it was Bridget the whole time.
Yeah, I understand how that worked.
Yeah. And it's, then you click on the link and it takes you to their sports page.
Right. So
Yep.
look at this. I'm sharing my screen.
Damn, that's what these fundraisers are doing.
See this? This is one of the explanations for the fundraiser, right? So he explains that it's a 1 hour fundraiser. They may continue it for 30 days, but the school gets paid within the first 5 days. And then they have a prefabricated text message that goes out, right? So the kid, all they doing is identifying the people that are prospects. So they send out a blast, the text message to the people that are on that database. And then they encourage the student to follow up and increase their conversion rates with a phone call.
Yeah.
So teaching them basic marketing, right? But that was the idea. And it's working. He probably has done over 1.7 million this year.
Wow.
In doing this. Now keep in mind, he's only in Las Vegas.
Wow.
So
yeah.
he's getting ready to roll it out in Dallas. And I'm like, dude, that sounds like it could be a good tool to get some supplemental revenue for kids that really want to get into entrepreneurship. His original target is for sports, basketball.
That's what this was. It was
right.
Sports.
That's
softball.
What it is. So when I did the thing with My Brother's Keeper, we would primarily focus on young men of color. We actually did My Sisters too, right? But when we had all the numbers that we needed for our grant, I went to the CTE department and said, if your students want to participate, I don't care what color they are, they can play, right?
Yeah.
And the CTEs were very receptive because they're trying to teach kids about business, and they really didn't have any models like that.
Right.
So that was my thought, that since there's a market, I want to go after the market, and I want to know the most efficient way to approach this based on your expertise.
And that's what I'm trying. Like, so I keep asking questions because school districts.
I love questions.
No, good. Because school districts are all set up differently depending on the location, if they're urban, the suburbs, all of that good stuff. So I feel more of the entrepreneurship programs are being ran through more of the urban community areas, which is good because it's like they want to show them what to do and how to do it and the projects. And they're also finding, that's the biggest keyword in what you said was grants. There are a lot of grants out there. I know a couple grant writers that find these grants that they could then utilize for the entrepreneurship programs and the children. I'm like going through my head right now with everything you said, because I'm trying to give you the quickest road of resistance of getting in front of the people that you need to get in front of.
Okay.
So, and the school districts, because it's like there's certain school districts that you're going to want to approach, and there's certain ones where they're more academic driven, where those parents want their kids to go to school to be doctors, lawyers, engineers. But then you have some where like, no, we want you to do entrepreneurship. So I don't want you wasting your time with knowing those districts and how to differentiate the two, and then how to like do the research and find the ones that have the programs for entrepreneurship. So that's the biggest thing is right now I'm trying to like, okay, how would I decipher this and explain that to you, which it may not be over this call, but it will definitely be in another call after I look at a couple, because your goal too is, as I think you were saying, is you don't want to just, where do you want to start? Like, do you want to start in Texas? Do you want to start arm's distance around you?
Yeah, I want to start right here where I'm at in the DFW area, because I'm familiar with some of these schools. I will tell you this, when I first got in the school district, I actually went to speak before the school board, right?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
And when I spoke before the school board, then they entertained my recommendation and they gave us some funds to do an initial project. When the program for My Brother's Keeper was implemented, it was implemented under the racial equity department specifically. So they funded that, the racial equity department. Once we got a buy-in on the top level, we were able to go to the school, talk to the principal and say, your boss sent us over here, right? The department, this racial equity department, who was under a very scrutinous spotlight because
Right.
they're looking at some of the inequities that are happening. So needless to say, the people wanted to cooperate.
Right. So can I show you my screen really quick?
Yeah, let me turn on sharing. Okay, you can share.
Okay. So like already off the bat, I looked up DFW, Dallas Unified School District, which over there I'm learning in Texas, it's called Independent, and I'm learning
Yeah.
a new lingo. But you know, they already have Innovation Design Entrepreneurship Academy. So this school is, I'm guessing, is an academy all about entrepreneurship. Well, hello, this is a near you. Did you know about this one already? Perfect. Then this is the part. So this is technically a school, and they're saying what they do academics about them.
Is it a Google search for this?
I did a Google search for this. I literally did. I'll tell you what I did. I did this. I went to the school district. I Googled. That's why I want to like try to help you too, so you can pinpoint it. Because like I said, every school district's different. So I put Dallas Unified School District. Well, it's not unified, it's independent. Okay, cool, independent, went there. Then I'm like, okay, I'm going to do a keyword on their program, entrepreneurship, which I totally spelled wrong, but whatever, it caught it. And then once I did that, I was typing that in. This came about, this one did, and this popped up. So I clicked on that link, and then boom, they have a whole academy on entrepreneurship, which is pretty. I've not seen that over here in California yet. Maybe I'm not looking like I Googled this one, but here's the academics of what they teach. And this is where I feel, hello, you guys are right next to this school district and this school, of how to create that linkage of working with them on entrepreneurship.
And I know I'm very familiar with Nefty.
So let's see, faculty and staff. Contact us, community advisory board, community partnerships, internships, mentorship needs. I don't know why it's doing that, but additional day professional development. Yeah, I think this one is, in my opinion, this is a good place to start of that academy, and just tell them like, hey, here's what we do. We believe in entrepreneurship. We want to help the new generation. Here's what I've done before. I've done grants, but like, besides, you know, what they're learning in school, and see like, you know, like what you did, I think that was amazing. You did your research on me, do your research on them, and see like how you just did with me, the linkage of what you're trying to do with their program. And then be like, hey, if you ever need someone to come in and speak about entrepreneurship, I can come in, my team can come in. Like, because here's the problems with these kids too, not in a bad way. I speak at construction courses for boys and girls that are in construction. And what I do is I then tell them like, hey, here's my story, here's my background, and motivate it. But they're kids, they're not, maybe this group's different because they have the entrepreneur, like they want to do that. Maybe it's a different skill set, but my kids, they won't speak up. So I had to find incentives to motivate them. So I'll bring like gift cards or money. And I'm like, when one of them raises their hand, I'm like, oh, here's $5 or here's a gift card. And then they all look around the room and they're like, oh, what the hell? She's giving stuff out. And they start raising their hands and interacting. That's the one thing I recommend you guys do. Bring gift cards and start handing them out and like praise them for that. And then what I do at the very end of it, like I let them know like, hey, do you see the difference? How you're motivated when I wasn't giving out things, when I was, you have to find that motivation, but in other ways in your career. And then they're like, oh, and they start to understand the feeling, just like with you, they start to understand your project. So I say you start here and you reach out to them and do their research and be like, how can we join? How can these kids also be a part of Apex and collaborate? Hello, Entrepreneurship Academy in Dallas.
I agree. And by the way, I always use money as far as cash incentives.
I know it's crazy, especially with these kids, man. Starbucks gift cards, they're motivated for those. They got that, like they love those gift cards. Kids love damn caffeine as much as we do.
So when you did your piece, you started at one location and identified the model of as far as whatever, I guess, the protocol or hierarchy of who you have to talk to, and then kind of duplicated that in other locations?
Yeah. So anytime I want to speak at high schools or middle schools with the construction program, same thing. If they don't have a construction program, how am I going to speak in front of those kids because they don't have the program? So
Right.
I started going, I look at the school, step one, find the school district. And then from that point, find the key word of their programs. Because like I
Mhm.
said, every district is going to focus differently on education courses. And I'm stoked that they have entrepreneurship over there in Dallas. So once I would find my course, like they have the construction academy over here in Riverside, California, then I would reach out to that lead person and their faculty and say, hey, I would love to speak with the kids, want to help out. Let me know what I can do. And I'm not kidding you. I haven't gotten one school district that's ever turned me down.
Really?
Ever. No.
Really?
Why? Because there's not enough of us. This is the sad part. You think more of us would be reaching out to schools to help these kids, whether it's construction or entrepreneurship? No, not many. I did a donation in Mount Diablo up north where we donated for 3 girls to do a feminine. It's called Femineer, female engineer Femineer.
Mhm.
And the superintendent is like a CEO of a school district. He called me, his assistant called me and said, thank you for donating. And you're like, wow, the CEO's assistant of a school district did that. Why? Because not many people are doing it. And she's like, how did you find out about us? I'm like, LinkedIn, I saw him post it. So we believe in giving back to, women in male dominated industries. And, I like to, like I said, I liked it how they showed how much money they needed. And my favorite part, where the money was going to and how it was going to be used. I'm not a fan of when they ask for money and I'm like, where's the money going? But they broke it down like, here's what $300 is going to do for girls. It's going to give her supplies. It's going to give her this. And I was like, let's do 3. And so I told her that marketing method that they were using was very awesome because it made me feel good. Like I'm helping a young girl. I know where the money is going. And I know that someone's like utilizing it in the best way they could for these young women. So yeah, I've never gotten turned down ever. If anything, I feel bad that there's not more of us trying to do an outreach with these kids.
So question, do you have like a circuit? Let's say you get one school that's interested in you coming. Do they have you coming with some kind of frequency or like once a year? Or
Yeah. So every year in the academy, just like schools, they graduate and leave, they have a new class. Every year I get asked to go back to Riverside, their construction program. Now this year I have 2 of them. They want me to fly up to Mount Diablo, Northern California, and then they want me to go to Hemet. So here's the thing too. It's like, I don't really do this for like, oh, I'm looking for money and things like that. I truly do this because I feel like these kids need to be inspired in ways I wish someone would have inspired me in school, and show them a pathway, because a lot of these kids don't want to join construction because it doesn't seem like they can make money and it doesn't seem sexy in a way, meaning like they could have a career advancement. So my job when I go in there is I try to shift their mind with it and be like, oh, you're a woman, that's not a problem. Or you think you're not going to make money, like here's your career path. And then why I think I'm doing that too is this generation over here, we don't have enough of the youth leaving high school coming into construction. So we have a labor shortage over here in California.
Right.
And the kids that show up to the job site, they show up late. And we're like, well, why are they showing up late? Why don't they want to be here? And then we start dissecting it, and it's leadership and it's mentorship. So we're like, okay, we need to do a better job mentoring and leading these kids coming to the site. Because when we asked a couple, they're like, I get so overwhelmed. I don't, when the job site's happening, I don't know where to go. I don't know who to check in with. I don't know if I have the right tools. And we're like, we need to fix that day one before they go on the site, because that's the problem our market has right now with where we're at in construction. This generation's not wanting to get into it.
I think that problem is across multiple industries because nobody's creating the connection between the existing business and the future workforce.
Nope. And so I'm trying to see too, okay, as I'm paying attention to this, like I'm doing it right now because I'm feeling drawn and called to it, but I know there's going to be a point where it's like, I'm supposed to do something with it. But I'm just, because Apex talks a lot about that. Like, you're like, I know I'm here for a reason doing this. I don't know what's coming of fruition of it yet, but I know I'm supposed to be speaking, and then I know something's going to happen from it. I just have to figure out when that happens, run through the door to do it. So
now, do they pay you to go to these locations?
No, they do not. Like I said, I do it because they ask me to and they want me to, but I do have to say too, it looks really good for our company when we are bidding on a job and they see our logo. Like you guys use your logo Apex, we use ours, you know, which is funny. We have the same colors like PSS.
Yeah.
And and here's why: branding and marketing, like I'm building my machine right now. Ryan
Right.
says they have to see you, your logo, your sign, something 17 to 20 times before making a decision. So with some of those school districts that I'm also trying to get in with to do construction, if the tiers of a school district is board, all the board members, then from that point of the board members, it's the superintendent. Think superintendent like a CEO. And then the superintendent, just like think Coca-Cola, he's going to have a CFO, an HR head honcho, someone else, and then someone that leads the curriculum. And then it trickles down into like other administrative. So I try to get in front of all the decision makers. I look at the board. I'm like, who's going to see my logo and where's my proposal going to hit or go up the ladder? And how can I get them used to seeing it? And so like Mount Diablo, I've been trying to get into that school district for 5 years. They have a large contract I want. So me going, working the top and then working the other way with the facilities guy, seeing my name, brand, giving all that. I know for a fact, like something's going to have to hit when they see my proposal for everyone else's. So same thing with you guys. I don't know. Figure out a way to like working with the Entrepreneurship Academy of maybe there is a grant or what you guys can offer and do. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I can see how that's beneficial.
You can sit right here really quick. But you're fine. You can sit right there and then I'll be done. Huh? The what? Oh, George has the mail here. Sorry. I'm so sorry, Robert. 1 second. Here's the cord. And then George has the mail and the everything else. Okay. Love you. Thank you. Sorry. My husband came to pick something up. So yeah, I think that's the thing too, is get in this one, offer what you have to offer, and then see how there can be a collaboration. And then once this one's your case study, then start applying it to other school districts that have this program in it.
So are you're not coming to Apex Live on Friday? I
have a big conference where all of my clients are gonna, like the people I'm chasing, same damn day. I'm like, son of a gun, like I want to be there. So yeah, I'm trying to win more contracts, so I have to go to that. But I was at the last one. It was amazing. And then I'm the mid-tier Apex. What is it? Entrepreneurs,
yeah.
Yes, I'm in the mid one right now. So whenever that next meetup is, I think it's in January, I want to say.
January or February.
I will be there. Yeah.
Do you do collaborations with some existing people in Apex? In terms of what you're doing with your construction, do you have some people that are working with you in any capacity?
Yeah, so I'm building relationships in the community, like right now, mental wise, like being a mom and running a business. Ashley, she has her mortgage company. She's amazing. And then I talked to Miranda in my group, Taylor, love Taylor. She's pretty awesome also.
Teamster?
Yeah, she's so cute. Yeah, Taylor's sweet. And then I've spoken a little bit with Kurt, who's the level of, I think, beyond above me. Exactly. Kurt's been pretty awesome. And then I met with Monica and the executive for lunch. She's amazing. And yeah, I'm just
like that.
Yeah, so the whole point of me joining Apex is just breaking through these barriers and applying new things to my business, or else it's if you keep doing the same thing over and over, you're going to get the same result. Right. And I'm here in California and there's business groups, but I'm like, I needed something different. I was also on Trevor and Cal's podcast, The Real Business Owners. And those two told me about Apex. I was like, hey, what business groups are you part of? We're part of Apex, join it. And I'm like, okay. And I joined it and I was like, oh my God, thank you. And they're they don't waste their time and money. So I knew when they mentioned Apex that it was credible, where I wouldn't waste my time and money. So when I went to my first live, which was a couple months ago, I knew right then and there that I wanted to sign up. So I met with Drewby and yeah, I'm in the mid one because my business doesn't function without me at all. And I see why. I have no SOPs. Right. I have 7 employees, but I need to hire in a different structure. So, because what do I want to do? I want to go speak more at schools. I want to work on marketing and sales, what I love. I don't want to be stuck in this minutia of the business. I need to hire the right people to do that. So that's what Apex has been helping me do.
Well, I am at your disposal. In fact, I'll say this, that Kale, when they tried to first get in touch with Ryan, and that's before they had Apex, it was called the Tribe back then.
Uh-huh.
Right, there were no different levels. So I was the first contact that he made to try to reach Ryan, right?
Oh my
So I knew
God.
him back in the day. But what I see, and needs to happen more consistently, is that there are people like you got a particular market, but there are other vertical service providers that could be a part of that equation. As an example, let's say that you landed a contract that requires some trucking, and you have this relationship with Monica, who has a
Yeah.
trucking firm. Those are the kind of connections that
You know what? That's a
a lot.
good idea. I feel like once you pay to be an Apex, there should be a directory where you put your name. And that's the thing is I know like you guys know the fine lines, but just throwing this out there, like the name, the contact number, their website, and then the industry they're in, so that you could like exactly like if I need trucking or an HVAC question, I can click on construction and then see what they do and be like, oh, I'm going to reach out to them. But I know you guys too, like there has to be like the rules that you guys have with Facebook, like, be careful, can't be selling their information or sell this.
What I'm gonna tell you this. I actually met with Drew B and Thomas about the directory piece a couple of weeks ago. Chuck LeBeau puts together a directory, right? One of the things that Ryan and they're resistant to, they don't want to have somebody else having their data, right? I get that. But the process of the fact that this organization is so large, it's essential that we have some organized method to identify who is doing what. So I'm gonna have them put together one for me for the young people, so that young people can start seeing, and then have the business people in there so that they can see, well, if I want to get an intern or apprenticeship opportunity, and I'm looking at this niche, I'm interested in construction per se, as somebody that I can talk to, reach out to, and perhaps can direct me or engage me, right?
Yep.
So it has to happen. But
you guys have to for sure have that internally, I feel.
Yeah.
With all the members, because like you said, it's like, okay, well, here's Apex. I love how we're all in different markets, but like, why don't we get the construction people together and the real estate people together and the trucking people together, or the consulting and the coaching? So like at times we can utilize each other's resources, because here's the thing too, like, let's say I want to get into Texas and start, building schools there. Well, I would love to, instead of having at times, which now I know it's like good to go to you to be like, oh, who else is in school construction in Texas? Like, how do I get in there versus doing it all on my own and going through.
Right. And as the concierge, that's my obligation.
Okay.
There's too many people for me to handle by myself. And it needs to be an organized structure. It was good when it was only a few people and you can remember folks by name and like, oh, here's his number. Text him.
You guys are not there. You guys are not at that point anymore. You guys are at a way larger
way beyond that.
So everyone should put their information in a database that's easy for you guys. And then at least you can click on our industries and see, because I think that's good for your market too, to be like, okay, out of Apex, like who from what industry is mostly here and why are they here at Apex and how are we helping them?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Because that'll actually lead into more business when we can show impact that we've had. So as thanking you for having this conversation with me, also, I want you to know I'm at your disposal if you need some assistance in terms of getting to that place where you can step away from the business and start doing more of your speaking pieces. I am here to help.
No, thank you. I appreciate that.
I'm gonna help you.
No, I feel I've learned a lot with Chris Whitehead and my group. Yeah, no, they're all great. And like I'm taking the steps and I see the steps I'm taking, what's coming of fruition. So it's like, it's no bullshit. The stuff really does work.
Yeah.
Because I've been part of another group and I'm like, I was part of this group for 2 years and not one thing has changed in my business for 2 years there. It's more of a therapy group. And I'm like, I'm here to do shit with my business. Like my time is valuable. Like it's not. So that's why I joined Apex. And I was like, wow, the needle's been moving every week, every month in some sort of way. So yeah.
So we gonna at some point in time jump back on the call, but I'm to be held accountable too, because this information is valuable. I have to apply to execute.
No, please. Okay, so I want to hear back from you after you do your research on that school, that I'm gonna email it to you, the link, that after you do your research on what happens when you reach out to them and what their response is, because it's like once you test method that one, then you can start getting a list of school districts in your area and then keep doing them one, but like it goes like this, like out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you know Brian Hawley? Brian,
No.
okay, Brian Harley, he's an executive, and he's been referring a lot of people to the organization. But one young lady that is referred wants to do something with young people, students. She wants to speak. So I'm gonna reference you to her. She's just in entourage, but she
Yeah.
wants to get out there and speak. So some of the stuff that you've been sharing is very good in terms of getting clarity about how you go about positioning yourself to get in front of that audience. And
Right.
which ones do you identify based on your skill set, right?
Exactly. Because if
Yeah.
she wants to do more of the troubled youth,
I don't
then
know.
that's a
I don't
whole,
know.
it's same bureaucracy of the, channel of ladders and all that, but it's a different department. It just slides over
Yeah.
one more. Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
definitely will reference you when I talk to her.
Okay.
So she'll
Perfect.
be here on Thursday.
Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But no, give her my contact information and like, trust me, I'm bummed out. I'm not going to be there, but I also need a contract. So
Gotta do what you gotta do. It ain't
yeah.
personal, it's business. But
Well,
thank you so much.
no, you're welcome. And like vice versa, I'll help you out anytime and I'll send you this link right now.
And I will put together this directory. It's gonna happen.
Yes. Gotta see who's coming and why.
It's not a joke. Yeah, I'm on it.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, Robert.
Bye. Thanks.